GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. Police are still looking for a suspect after a break-in near Kennedy and Ellesmere, and a separate stabbing near Bloor and Christie has left 2 injured. Expect heavy traffic as highway closures for the Triathlon Festival bite, and the Lower Don Trail reopens August 1. Nathan, what do you make of that?
Salsa on St. Clair offers a free, open-air dance class every Saturday evening at the St. Clair West Station Plaza, beginning at 6 o'clock.
The session is led by instructors from the downtown Toronto Salsa Studio, welcoming dancers of all skill levels, and includes a brief warm-up before partner routines.
Live Latin percussion accompanies the class, and participants can enjoy complimentary refreshments provided by local cafes, with the event running until 9:30 on Saturday nights.
The scheduled salsa session provides an evening of dancing, but first we have plenty to cover. Stay tuned as we dive into today's stories. Good morning, Toronto.
Nathan Cole. Toronto police are actively searching for an unidentified male suspected of forcing entry into a residence near the intersection of Kennedy Road and Ellesmere Road in Scarborough on Thursday afternoon. The break-in occurred at approximately 3 p.m., and investigators say the intruder removed several personal items before fleeing the scene. Detectives have linked the incident to a broader wave of residential burglaries that have plagued the eastern part of the city over the past weeks. Officers are urging anyone who observed unusual activity around the Kennedy and Ellesmere area that morning, or who recognizes the description released by police, to come forward. The investigation remains ongoing, and police have not ruled out the possibility of additional suspects. A spokesperson confirmed that resources have been allocated to increase patrols in the neighborhood as the search continues.
2 people were stabbed just before 10 p.m. Saturday, July 25 in Toronto's Christie Pitts neighborhood near the intersection of Bloor and Christie Streets. A 22-year-old man and a 19-year-old woman were rushed to hospital with injuries that are not life-threatening. Toronto Police Service responded to the scene, opened an investigation, and cordoned off the block while detectives collected evidence. Officers are now searching for a suspect believed to be involved in the attack, and they are reviewing surveillance footage from nearby businesses. The investigation remains active as police canvass the area for leads. No arrests have been made, and the identities of the victims have not been released. Police have not disclosed a description of the suspect. The incident adds to a series of recent violent crimes in the city, prompting heightened patrols in the neighborhood.
City officials announced an aggressive tree planting push aimed at closing the canopy gap that has left some neighborhoods sweltering while others stay cooler. The plan, rolled out this summer, calls for thousands of new street trees to be installed in every part of the city, from the dense blocks of the downtown core to the leafy streets of the Danforth and the growing avenues of Scarborough. Planners say each new planting will be paired with design guidelines that factor climate change projections, ensuring future streetscapes can absorb heat and manage stormwater. The initiative comes as Toronto endures another extreme heat spell, with temperature spikes exposing stark differences in shade coverage across the boroughs. By embedding climate considerations into zoning and public works, the city hopes to blunt the urban heat island effect and create a more livable summer for all residents.
Facing a nationwide squeeze on starter homes, Eugene Blanchard's daughter and her partner are crisscrossing the country in search of their first house. Over the past few weeks, they've toured listings in Calgary and Edmonton, then headed east to the Maritimes before returning to Ontario to compare options. Their itinerary reflects a growing trend. As prices surge in traditional markets, buyers are eyeing alternatives like laneway homes and smaller suburban lots that promise lower entry costs. The couple says each province offers a different price point, but inventory remains thin and competition fierce. With mortgage rates holding steady, they hope a modestly priced property will emerge before the summer buying rush peaks. Their journey underscores how many young Canadians are expanding their horizons to find affordable footing in a tight market.
Early Saturday morning, a collision in Etobicoke involving a Toronto Police Service vehicle prompted a response from the Special Investigations Unit. The SIU, which reviews police-involved incidents to assess whether criminal conduct occurred, has opened a formal investigation into the crash. Officers on scene secured the area and provided medical assistance to the civilian driver, who suffered injuries. The police vehicle sustained front-end damage, and both drivers were transported to a nearby hospital for evaluation. The crash happened in the early hours, leading to lane closures that slowed traffic for minutes. The SIU's mandate requires an inquiry, and investigators will interview witnesses, review dash cam footage, and examine forensic evidence before determining any charges. Police officials have declined to comment on the specifics pending the unit's findings, emphasizing their cooperation with the investigative process. The SIU has indicated its report will be issued after the investigation, a timeline that spans weeks.
Up next, we'll dive into the federal decision that halted Billy Bishop Airport's expansion. Keeping the waterfront intact, stay tuned, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back. We've got the latest headlines, and coming up, Nathan Cole will dive into today's local stories you need to hear.
The federal government has turned down a proposal to enlarge Billy Bishop Airport on the Toronto Island, a move advocates are hailing as a win for the waterfront. Officials said the rejection came after reviews highlighted potential spikes in aircraft noise, emissions, and road congestion that would have rippled into nearby neighborhoods. By keeping the runway footprint unchanged, the decision averts additional traffic on island ferry routes and preserves open space that residents enjoy along the lakefront. Environmental groups argued the expansion would have strained already fragile shoreline habitats, while commuters feared longer travel times to and from the city core. The final ruling, issued in July, reflects a broader effort to balance growth with the quality of life for those who live, work, and recreate along Toronto's shoreline and the local economy.
Portion of the Lower Don Trail between the Belleville Underpass and Queen Street East is set to open again on August 1st. The stretch has been shut for several years while engineers tackled persistent soil instability and weather-related damage. Cyclists, walkers, and families will finally regain a quiet riverside link that connects neighborhoods on the east side of the city, offering a safe, car-free route for daily commutes or weekend outings. The city says the recent work stabilized the ground and added drainage to prevent future closures. Residents can expect improved signage and refreshed path surfaces as they head out for a jog or a stroll with their kids. The reopening marks the end of a long wait and adds another piece to Toronto's growing network of green corridors throughout the region.
Volunteers across the Greater Toronto Area logged another milestone on Friday, saying they are now within striking distance of 10 million litter pieces removed from neighborhood streets, parks, and waterways. The Community Clean-Up Group, which has organized dozens of weekend events since its inception, said the latest tally reflects the combined effort of thousands of residents who gathered bags, gloves, and determination to clear debris. Organizers noted that reaching this level of collection helps keep local waterways clearer and reduces the risk of wildlife encounters with plastic. The initiative continues to schedule regular cleanups, inviting anyone with a spare afternoon to join future efforts. With the target so close, the group hopes the momentum will keep pace with the growing volume of waste that appears each season. City officials have praised Volunteer Network for its impact on spaces, noting that cleaner streets contribute to a pleasant walking experience for commuters.
On July 24, the city completed a 4-hectare expansion of Beadosage Park, adding roughly the size of 4 Canadian football fields to the green space. The park, which opened just a year ago as one of Toronto's newest outdoor venues, now offers extra trails, wider picnic zones, and room for community events. Neighbors say the added acreage will ease the weekend crowds that have filled the original fields, giving families more room to run, bike, and relax. City planners noted the growth aligns with the municipal goal of increasing accessible parkland across the city. The new section connects directly to the existing network of paths, creating a seamless loop for joggers and dog walkers. With the enlargement already in place, residents can start enjoying the larger park locally this week.
Research released Friday night warned Toronto is waiting too long before euthanizing coyotes that repeatedly become a nuisance. The study's lead author, a wildlife biologist, argued that the city's current reliance on non-lethal measures, such as hazing and relocation, allows problem animals to linger, increasing the risk of encounters with residents. City officials acknowledged the findings, saying they will review the recommendation while balancing public safety and animal welfare concerns. Local animal lovers and advocacy groups responded with mixed reactions, some urging faster action to protect neighborhoods and others urging continued emphasis on humane alternatives. The call comes as Toronto, like many Canadian municipalities, grapples with a growing coyote population that has become more visible in parks and backyards. Authorities said any policy shift will be considered in the coming weeks. The recommendation also notes that delayed decisions can lead to increased bites and property damage, prompting urgency among city planners.
Let's take a quick look at the afternoon forecast as we head into that summer heat.
A weakening ridge gives way to a northwest jet, ushering an unsettled yet dry afternoon across Toronto. On this date, Toronto's record high sits at 33.8 degrees, set in 2020 during an unprecedented heat wave that pushed the city well above its usual July peak. The record low is 15.3 degrees, recorded in 2013 when a sharp Arctic dip slipped unusually far south, blanketing the region in a brief but bitter chill. By contrast, the climate normal for late July hovers around 24 degrees high and 17 degrees low, underscoring today's modest temperatures. The live radar screen is completely quiet with no echoes across the province. A dry, stable air mass dominates, reinforced by a near-average pressure field that is beginning to fall, signaling the approach of a weak disturbance that has yet to tap enough moisture to generate rain. With the jet stream streaming northwest at 43 kilometers per hour, any future bands would be steered well east of the city. Turning now to today's outlook. At noon, the thermometer reads 20 degrees, skies mainly clear and humidity perched at 86%. Pressure is falling, indicating an unsettled system edging closer, while the northwest jet at 43 kilometers per hour rides over the region, limiting vertical development and keeping the air relatively dry. As the sun climbs, temperatures will rise to a modest 24 degrees by mid-afternoon, then dip to 22 as clouds drift in for the evening, creating an overcast finish. The UV index stands at 5 and wind remains light, well under the 25 km per hour threshold. No weather alerts are active. Monday will see a high of 24 degrees and a low of 17, but an overcast sky will invite a 65% chance of rain as the incoming disturbance finally releases its moisture. Tuesday remains cool at 24 degrees high, 17 low, with lingering drizzle and a 60% rain probability, keeping the ground damp. Wednesday clears out, reaching a high of 26 and a low of 18, and the chance of rain drops to 25%, offering a brief respite. Thursday warms to a high of 28 and a low of 18, with clear skies and no rain threat. Friday holds steady at 27 high and 19 low, also clear, completing a stretch of improving weather after the early week wet spell. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic snarled from the triathlon and geo delays, the Argonauts' latest clash, plus tonight's candlelight tribute to Metallica. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Eastbound Gardiner Expressway is closed from the Humber River to the Don Valley Parkway for the Super Tri-Toronto event. The Don Valley Parkway northbound is also shut from the Gardiner to Eglinton Avenue East. Drivers heading downtown should expect heavy backups on Lake Shore Boulevard, where both directions are reduced between New Brunswick Way and Ontario Drive. The closure inside Exhibition Place adds further bottlenecks. Construction on College and Carlton between Bay and Church slows TTC routes along those streets. In transit, the Barrie GO line is out of service between Allendale Waterfront and Union Station, and the Kitchener line runs only between Stratford and Mount Pleasant. The UP Express is suspended for the weekend. TTC's Bloor-Danforth line runs only between St. George and Broadview, and the Scarborough line remains shut between Kennedy and McCowan. Expect longer travel times across the board this morning, and into the afternoon.
Candlelight tribute to Metallica takes the stage at the Royal Theatre tonight, delivering a multi-sensory salute to the legendary band, perfect for anyone craving heavy riffs without the stadium roar. It lets you feel the power up close. The Royal Canadian Circus bows out today at Upper Canada Mall in Newmarket, offering families one last chance to see daring acrobats, clowns, and dazzling visual spectacles. Over in Scarborough, the Folk Fest lights up Thompson Memorial Park with more than 150 artists, workshops, and food stalls, a free celebration of multicultural music you can wander through at any time. Enjoy food, crafts, and the vibrant rhythm of the neighborhood. Looking ahead, tomorrow the beach's International Jazz Festival rolls onto Woodbine Beach, spreading swing, bebop, and world fusion across several stages, a must-see for music lovers before the summer winds down. Pack a blanket and picnic for a sunset soundtrack. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Here's the latest on Toronto's Argonauts, Blue Jays, and CFL action. Quarterback Nick Arbuckle of the Toronto Argonauts said he could not determine whether the hit on receiver Chad Kelly was intentional after the play knocked Kelly out of Saturday's contest against the BC Lions. Arbuckle left the assessment to officials, Sportsnet reports. Toronto Blue Jays right-hander Dylan Cease delivered a dominant outing on Saturday, fanning 12 Boston Red Sox batters. Sportsnet highlighted a selection of his most effective pitches from that performance, underscoring his command of the strike zone. The Toronto Argonauts broke a 3-game losing streak with a victory over the BC Lions on Saturday, according to Sportsnet. The win marks a turnaround for the struggling Lions and gives the Argus momentum heading into the next week.
Thread and Needle on Queen Street West opens its doors at the corner of Queen and John, bringing a fresh voice to Toronto's fashion scene. Founded by designer Maya Patel, the boutique curates locally made apparel and accessories, all crafted from sustainable fabrics and displayed in a renovated heritage space. This weekend, the launch features a pop-up market where emerging creators showcase pieces alongside the shop, and a partnership with a local women's shelter means a portion of every sale funds job training programs. It's more than a store, it's a community hub that stitches together creativity, responsibility, and opportunity. That's why Thread and Needle matters to Toronto. It turns style into a catalyst for change. And now a bright note, a young couple traveling coast to coast to find their first home, turning a housing crunch into hope.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From city hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
The federal government has just turned down a controversial plan to expand Billy Bishop Airport after a wave of opposition from Torontonians, raising questions about the city's future air service and local development. City officials warn the rejection could limit growth and affect jobs tied to tourism and commerce. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. I'm standing on the concrete apron at Billy Bishop Toronto City Airport, the hum of seaplanes and the distant thrum of ferry horns mixing with the salty breeze off the islands. The terminal's glass walls reflect a sky streaked with late morning clouds, and a line of small commuter aircraft idles where a jet once might have been parked. Today, federal officials posted a notice on the main information board. The proposed expansion to accommodate larger jets is cancelled. I can hear the chatter of local vendors, coffee carts, and souvenir stalls, who have been waiting for the change, now relieved that the runway will stay the size it's always been. Kids on the nearby promenade watch the water taxis glide by, while a jogger pauses to glance at the posted notice, a sigh of relief audible. Residents gathered earlier in the park across the water held signs that read, "Keep our islands green and no jets, just peace." The decision underscores how community voice can halt a major infrastructure push, preserving the island's character for generations. Carl Dumont, virtually at Billy Bishop Toronto City Airport.
On a bright Tuesday morning at the St. Lawrence Community Health Center, a line of residents gathered not for flu shots, but for something a little different, a free consultation day on safe aesthetic treatments. Nurse practitioner Aisha Patel stood beside a sleek, silver Botox kit, explaining the province's newly refreshed guidelines that balance artistry with safety. She reminded a nervous first-timer Maya that the changes were meant to protect both the patient and the caring hands that administer them. As Maya looked into the handheld mirror, the room filled with quiet excitement. The nurse gently adjusted the lighting, showing how a small, precise touch could lift a tired line and lift a spirit. The moment Maya walked out, smiling at her reflection, the clinic's hallway buzzed with a shared sense that confidence can be nurtured responsibly. Ontario's updated standards are already turning cautious curiosity into empowered self-care, proving that when health officials and local nurses work together, Community well-being gets a fresh, uplifting boost. That's the kind of progress we can all feel good about.
In the heart of Scarborough, on a street east of the Danforth, the storefront of Marco's Auto Care is usually a blur of engines and oil. This week the yard is dominated by a towering wall of rubber, more than 1,000 discarded tires piled in neat rows, black sidewalls glinting in the afternoon sun. Marco Alvarez, the shop's owner, was ordered by the city to clear the stock after a province-wide change to tire recycling rules left the handful of licensed haulers unable to take the load. He spent the morning calling every recycler in the region, only to hear the same answer: no capacity, no permits, no way forward. By evening, a small crowd of neighbors gathered, drawn by the unusual sight, and a local community garden group offered an unexpected solution. They proposed shredding the tires to create safe, resilient pathways for their garden, turning waste into a lasting public space. The moment first tire was fed into the grinder, Marco's shoulders relaxed, and yard began to feel less like a burden and more like a shared project. It's a reminder that even a pile of old tires can bring a community together.
Thanks, Toronto, for joining us on the lunch break. Tonight's look at the city's push to boost the tree canopy reminded us all how vital green space is during this heat wave. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay safe and see you then.